Hello, everyone. Okay, so can we try this again and see? Well, first of all, welcome back to Evie Turquesadat. This is Evie, and I am going to try and do this little experiment and hopefully not get too many interruptions. So I just, right now, did a little test. These are the colors that Marla had sent, and let me see. They are so shimmery, guys. I like them. They're fun to play with and just let them happen and do whatever they want? Yes, because they're a little bit too liquid to have much control over them unless I was picking them from the mat here. So I kind of feel like letting it happen. And I'm thinking that maybe I'm going to use the purple for the trunk of the tree. And I might go for this one to play like at the top. But we're going to have to see what happens. So are you guys ready to experiment with me and just see what happens on this page? Let's just let it happen as it goes and see what we come up with. So I'm going to attempt a tree trunk, just a freehand, and I'm just going to draw with the same bottle that I have here. I'm not going to do the brush like plan work, I think, right? That's what I'm thinking. So, and I'm not going to be here for too long because it's hot in here. So until I get my air conditioner fixed, I am not going to spend long periods of time, like being able to work here. But I'm just playing here and seeing what happens. Hopefully, maybe you guys will be able to join me at some point. If not, thank you for coming by and watching the replay. And seeing what happens here with me. I'm just gonna play, and see. It's interesting because it kind of looks, in this light, it looks blue. I don't know what you guys are being able to see on the screen, but I kind of love the shimmer. But I love me some shimmer and some metallics. So, Marla, these are cool. Let's see how they dry, though. And then the paper itself is a little bit buckled because it's not like a really. Maybe if I did it on a watercolor paper, it would change. But I didn't. I just started. And watch me like just lose myself into this and play around and let it happen. Not stressing over it. Not like I'm not worried. Whatever happens, happens. I'm just playing. It's bleeding. And we'll see where it goes. We'll see if it bleeds more or if it stays, and then come into it later on and keep playing with that and seeing what happens. So I'm trying not to push too much so that not a lot comes out. And I haven't even seen if someone's watching or not, but it's a little bit it's bleeding a lot onto the paper, even though I have my acrylics underneath. There's a little ant going around, and I hope she doesn't decide to come here because I don't know how good it's going to be for her to join my little glitter parade here. We'll see how that dries when it dries. But that's how it's looking so far. And I'm not gonna like touch it too much. I have to let it dry a little bit, and then I'm gonna come in with the green. And I said I was gonna play with this one, so. But I don't want to do it right now because I don't want them to blend too much. And I don't have my um, heat gun in here. I have it outside where I teach my classes. So, but I'm looking at how it's drying here. And I'm kind of liking that. This is the green that I'm going to attempt to use because this one's a little bit too golden for my taste for this piece. I like the white, um, but it bleeds. It bleeds onto the paper, onto this cardstock. I wonder if it's going to react differently if I do it on a watercolor paper, but that's not what we're playing with tonight. And this piece is more of like an experiment and sort of mixed media-ish, so I don't really mind that it has like a life of its own and it's like doing its own thing. And I'm not too patient on waiting until tomorrow because I'm already live. So I don't know if I want to go in and like it's kind of risky, right? It can turn like old brownish. But should we just like go for it? I know if you guys would be here live, I could get your feedback on that. But I said I was gonna go on around 8 my time because I think it's what is it 7 Eastern right now, right? You guys are an hour earlier. So I'm just shaking it out to see if I can get a good mix of the mica glitter on it and see what happens. Let's see what happens if I add this. I'm just let's see what happens when it mixes. Hopefully you guys are not like freaking out while I do this. Who knows? We might get a surprise and it could be something like awesome coming out of this. But if it's hideous and I don't like it, then I can always like tear it out of the little notebook or just let it sit there as an experiment. If you don't try new things, then you don't get to discover like what could happen. So it's kind of interesting that we have no clue what's going to happen with this. We have no clue what's going to look like, what it's going to look like. It's just like things in life. Sometimes you just like gotta go for it and try it out and see. Okay, so that's my little mess there. Seeing what happens as I play with these. And these are, let me see, I'm trying to close it because it has like a little pointy part there that goes into the inside of the little nozzle. So these are artsy glitter inks. I had never seen them before until Marla sent them to me. So I'm kind of playing with them now and seeing what happens. I dared to do this on top of an acrylic background just because I wanted to see what would happen. Let me see if I can move this around a little bit because it's getting like a little puddle there, and I kind of like, I said I wasn't going to do this, but kind of want to move it around and not get that like, it's like puddling into the center, and I don't want to I don't want to have like a dark puddle in the center that looks like a little, so I want to move it around and have it like spread out a little bit. And I'm also probably going to have to um, go get a little tissue to pick up the excess because, well, I don't have to get a tissue. I can grab one of my, maybe I'll do it in this one. I'll just grab this one and start adding it to this little page here, just so I don't waste that excess because it's a lot and I don't want to waste it. And maybe that will help it get dried. It's going to be a sparkling green for this page. And that way we'll be also be able to see it on a thicker cardstock. So this is a smooth Bristol on a visual journal, and it's reacting differently. It's straight onto the page, so can you guys see it coming onto the page? Now that was just a little experiment. I think that if I had made a little puddle on my craft mat, I would have used the medium a lot more smarter. But I was experimenting. I was seeing how it would react and what would happen. So that's part of like the fun of just using a visual journal to explore different mediums and seeing how they react and what happens to them. I'm trying to see if I can pick up as much as I can without going to get a tissue to absorb the excess. I see that someone's on. I don't know who it is, but welcome. Thank you for being here. Keeping me company as I like do this little experiment here on my visual journal with some of those artsy glitter inks that I had never tried before, and Marla sent them to me a while back. And I've had them like on a shelf staring at me for a little bit. So today, not yesterday, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try those and see what happens because I want to make a tree and I've never tried those, so it could be something different. But then I wasn't able to come on live to do it the other day or yesterday, so I've been doing it today. Kind of like ate up all of the purple that I had underneath. But we'll see what happens when it dries. It might change. Trying to eliminate those little lines that it's creating. I want it to spread more. This is going to be a really pretty shimmer page to work on later on. It's really color as it's a really color. It's a really nice color as I'm painting it onto this. Looks beautiful. We'll see how it looks when it's fully dried. And I get to work on top of it for another heart page because I'm working on my little heart journal to take the excess paint out. And I sort of see I want it because it looks like when it like bleeds into the page, it loses the sparkle. So I'm trying also to add the sparkle in those areas because if it's gonna bleed, it might as well sparkle where it bleeds, or at least in some areas. This brush is a little bit ruined by the students, so it's like all split open. Okay, so I think that, see, this is how it looks as I took all of that excess and I was able to paint a whole page on this journal for the hearts. And I'll come back on tomorrow night to share what I made for Heart Wednesdays. But this is the little tree that I wanted to play with. And I want this whole area to fully dry to see what I'm gonna do with it. If I'm gonna go in and add some of the acrylic in there, or if I'm gonna just go in with maybe a metallic purple and define the edge. But for now, I'm just letting it settle in to see what it does on its own. It's kind of fun. And remember that I said on the video before that I'm gonna start adding like once those all dry, I'm gonna add like little blingy nail art onto the areas. So that's gonna be becoming part of a background, and this is gonna be popping out a little bit more in detail once it dries. So hi Joan, you're back. Hi. Isn't it cool? It's looking cool. I think it's yeah, I think it's kind of an interesting experiment. I don't know if you got to see the beginning of it. So I got, from what I did, I got that and I got a whole page for my hard journal covered with what I was adding to the page because I was adding it straight on. So yeah, that was a little bit extra daring. And this is how it's drying onto the page that I had done the test on. So it's losing. If you see it here, it's less sparkly. So I hope that doesn't happen to the top of the tree. If it does, I'm gonna go back in to add some extra sparkle somehow. And the other issue that I see is that it bleeds into this type of paper. It bleeds, and the sparkle is concentrated on where I applied it, but where it bleeds, it loses the sparkle. So I don't know if you can see. Can you see that there? The part that is shining and has all the sparkle is where I applied it, but the part that bleeds out onto this kind of like an index card paper, it loses the shimmer, and the shimmer just keeps, um, it stays where I applied the actual drip. So I have to see how that is different when it dries on. It looks like this one is spread out better, see? Because this one was applied with a brush. So it looks like it's more even, but it's not fully dried yet. So we'll have to see tomorrow when that dries. And then this, we'll see how it dries tomorrow. So tomorrow when I come in to share my Heart Wednesday, I'll share with you guys what this is looking like. And I want to see if the purple starts popping out again or if it stays behind the green. I want to see what happens. Yeah, it's kind of like organic. It's loose. So we'll see tomorrow when we look back at it and see whether we leave it or what it does. But what I wanted to do was do that. Just let it happen, let it flow, and see how it would react on top of the acrylics, and what kind of tree I could come up with doing that. Because I felt like creating a tree, and I felt like not controlling it as I usually do. So if this paper tears, it tears like around here. This is like the tearing bit. But it looks interesting. I kind of like it. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it dries. I see that it dripped down here. So maybe I'll do a little purple on top of that. Just because I don't really want the green going down onto the trunk of the tree. So let's have some fun and let that go up again. Woo! Joan, you know what happened? It's so funny. Because it's not Joan, it's Jean. I'm sorry. It's getting late for me. Um the kids were all in their rooms. Everything was like quiet and relaxed. And I said, okay, now it's my time. I'm going to go on live. As soon as I sat down and I started my live again, both of my kids came out and came into the studio again. I'm like, are you serious, you guys? You've been like doing your own thing for the past like half an hour. And I decided to come on live, and then you come back in to ask questions and do things. And they're like, ooh, sorry, sorry. Yeah, so that's what I did. I just started adding the lines like this because I think you missed the beginning, and I don't know why I was calling you Joan. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Just that's just like when people say my name and they say Evie because they read it in English. Yeah, so yours was like I totally changed your name. It wasn't even the pronunciation. I changed it to Joan because I was like just reading like quickly. to the side because I'm working on this side and the computer is like on my right side. So I just assumed, and I'm sorry. Um, yeah, but it's looking cool. It's interesting. So yeah, we'll leave it. We'll leave it there. Let it dry, and yeah, I'm saying we'll leave it there, let it dry, and then I come back in and I start playing again. Just because? Why not? It's gonna get thicker. But is it pronounced Jean? Did I at least say that one right? Yeah, you can as soon as it uploads, you can get to see like the beginning part. But basically what I was doing was this. I was just making my marks with the tips like you saw me do it here on top of the acrylic. This was my little test before I went on. So this was the beginning and I did it all in purple. And then I was gonna let it dry, but yeah, I was live already, and as you can see, it gets kind of, I don't know why, it's getting kind of hard today to go on live without interruptions. So I said, you know what, let's just start adding the green to the top and see what happens when they merge. Let's just risk it because I don't want to wait, and I don't know if I'm gonna have time to do it tomorrow, so I'll just do it now and see what happens. I have already prepared myself mentally to have it go whatever way it wanted, so and now it's my dog saying hi to everyone whoever's passing by. She's saying hi to them. Yeah, there's people walking by. I don't know if you can hear them. And she's like barking at them. Okay, so I said your name right. Woohoo. So I think I'm gonna say goodnight for now and let this fully dry and then come back tomorrow and share with you guys how this ends up looking once it's like fully dried and all of the things are like, see how it starts bleeding. I made that little line and it starts bleeding out and creating like its own little thing. And I cannot wait to see how it ends when it does its own thing like fully and it's fully dry. And then we'll see what type of like little nail art blingies that I've had like just lying around. I'm gonna search and see which other ones I have, and I'm gonna make that a funky little um tree at the top by adding just little things. These are all just like little studs. I don't know if you call them studs. For whatever reason, my English tonight is like not coming out. And earlier I was trying to say vines and I just couldn't come up with a word. I only remembered it in English. I mean in Spanish. I'm trying to turn it around, but it's getting hot in here in the studio and see they're like this. They're like little they look like little studs. And I have them like in different there's like gold and a square and a silver and there's like little blingies. There's little like goodies here for nail art that I don't do. But I bought them for playing with my mixed media. And I think I have a couple more somewhere. So I'm just gonna grab them from like my around my studio, and then tomorrow I'll be adding those with some glossy accents and seeing what happens. Oh, it's creating a little heart there. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that little puddle there? I see a little heart. Hearts are just showing up in my life everywhere. Okay, so I'll leave it. Besitos. Thank you for being here, and for all of you who are coming by afterwards and watching, thank you for coming by. I hope you like this little experiment. I'm gonna put them on the canopy of the tree. I'm gonna put the little bling like on top of that green when it dries. So I'm just like spreading them around and just playing with that. Um, yeah, so that's what I'll be doing tomorrow, hopefully, after I share the Heart Wednesday page. Tomorrow is Wednesday, and yeah, I don't think I have anything pending tomorrow, but you never know, right? With when you have kids and you have a full day's work, you never know what you're gonna have to end up doing afterwards, because it's also the week before we go on Thanksgiving break. And yeah, sometimes they just pop things in that we need to finish before we leave, and that could happen. So, but I'll try my best to come on live and keep working on it. Maybe adding the little blingy thing so you can see it happening live. And if I can't come on tonight, I'll wait until I'm live, and we can start like adding those live so you guys get to see it happening as it happens. So thanks again. Thanks for your comments and for your likes and your subscriptions. And hopefully we'll keep on growing and I can get to do that giveaway. I'm also going to come on live and do a little giveaway reminder, just so that you guys can help me spread the word that I'm sharing content on my channel again. And so we can have some more fun and interaction with new people that we get to meet. And those that are subscribed already get to know that I'm sharing some content, and they can come back to the channel and see what I'm sharing now, because it's different from what I was sharing before. So I hope you guys are liking it. Besitos again. Take care. Have a wonderful week. And hopefully we'll see each other tomorrow. And I'll share how this comes along. Okay? Bye. And thank you, Jean, for being here with me twice tonight. Take care. And thanks for your patience with all the interruptions from my kids. Night, night.